What's up, everyone? Welcome back, Divine Healing Poetry. How is everyone? Don't forget, subscribe, like, share, drop a comment. Share your stories, share your journey. I want to hear we're all in this together. We are not alone. How's everyone's week, though? How was your day? Welcome back. If you're new, welcome. Thank you for joining. My week was good. Overcoming some, I don't know if I want to say overcoming. I'm in the process. I am on that journey to overcoming and just healing a piece of me that I was so unaware of. Like, yo, it's wild. If you have my book, Beautifully Dead, how are you enjoying it? There's a couple poems in there that I am going to, just the topic of those poems, I'm going to touch on today, what I'm on my journey towards healing. If you don't have my book, Beautifully Dead, go cop it. It's on Amazon. It's a wonderful read. If you're into poetry, you just want to open your mind, get in touch with some feelings, some emotions, definitely go and cop that. Beautifully Dead. It's on Amazon. But, so, a lot of my, I'm not going to say a lot, but some of my poems were written in a time when your girl was depressed. Like, unknowingly depressed as well. So I was depressed for years and I was unaware. Like, I didn't know I was depressed because I always had a reason to be sad. Shit. If you grow up in an abusive household, there's always a reason for you to be sad. And then if you find yourself in an abusive relationship, there's another reason to just be sad. That feeling of not being good enough, not worthy, not deserving, just being hurt all the time. You feel ugly, like you have reasons to validate that feeling. You have a reason to attach that feeling to make the feeling make sense. And once I left home, found myself in an abusive relationship, got out of that. I have been out of it for going on 4 years now. And I've been in therapy for going on a year. It'll be a year in May 2nd, actually. Oh, I remember the day I started. And once my life began to just like calm down and I began to handle all of my, I don't even handle my kid's dad, definitely handling that ass, and then just removing all the negative pieces from my life that weren't bringing any value, like just getting everything out of my life, like from relationships to family to things that I used to do. It's like once I began to just clean my life up, so cleaning up bad habits and just really honing in on myself, going to therapy. My therapist pointed it out to me. She was like, because I remember one of our sessions. So if you've ever been with a narcissist or you are with a narcissist currently, you are always made to be the crazy one. You are always made to be the one that has something wrong with them. That is why all this shit is going on. It's not them. It's never them. And so in that relationship, he would always tell me, because when you confront a narcissistic person with anything of what they're doing, they are not going to take heed to that it is going to be a straight deflect, project, make you out to be the crazy one. And throughout that, and manipulate your mind. And throughout that arguing, that conversation that you just wanted to have, your mind with the manipulation, they begin to literally mind fuck you. And you are just like, what the fuck? Like, am I crazy? Is it me? Like, wait, hold on. Like, you get so lost within that that conversation that by the end of it, you are like, what just happened? Like, hold on a second. No fucking way. And you're just left like, you can be mad, you will find yourself upset, arguing, crying, because you're just like, what the fuck? And so majority of the time when I would bring to his attention things that he was doing that I didn't like, or it just didn't make me feel good, it was disrespectful, whatever, somehow I was bipolar. Like, somehow I was bipolar. And it's like, okay, if you are bipolar, I hope you are getting the help that you need. It is not something, serious to play with, because I know your emotions are up and down. In my case, that was not what was going on. You were fucking manipulating my mind to make me think and feel that I was crazy, because there was never any way you were going to take ownership. There was never any way he was going to take ownership for his behavior, his actions, his wrongdoings, his faults, his flaws. And so it was always, you're crazy, you're this, you're that. And I would just be like, what am I? Like, because one minute I am happy, but then the next minute I'm not. But it was because the motherfucker was always doing some shit to make me not be. And I also suffered with depression, but I didn't know. And so once I started therapy, I was like my first few sessions. And I said to her, I just came straight out because I just wanted to know for myself. And I was just like, am I bipolar? And she was like, what? And I was like, am I bipolar? It's like, am I bipolar? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay. And she was like, you suffer from depression, if anything, like, but you're not bipolar. And I was like, depression? And she was like, yes. She was like, but we will touch on all of that later. And so, the whole process so far with therapy for me has been eye-opening, enlightening. I've learned so much about myself, and I'm still learning about myself. I'm learning just about all the different emotions and how to process them, deal with them, heal them, my triggers, how to not make them be my triggers anymore. Yeah, that's a tough one. But just the learning and becoming aware, consciously aware of myself. And so this past therapy session, I'm just, unloading, getting a lot of shit off my chest. And she was like, that is your depression talking. And I was like, see, I've been wondering, because since my life has been at peace and there's nothing to trigger my depression, to just make me be in a constant state of depression, this shit just hit me. Like, I literally just woke up one morning and was just like not happy, sad, just not that happy, motivated, self-driven, positive outlook, rainbows everywhere, summer, And I was just like, I was telling her, I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't like this feeling. Like, I just don't feel good. I don't feel happy. I don't feel like myself. And she was like, that is depression. And I was just like, so this just comes out of nowhere and just hit. I got my little smoothie, y'all. It's so good. My sister put me onto this little recipe blew my mind. It is so good. Hold on. And so I was just like, this shit just comes out of nowhere like this and it just hits you. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. And she was like, that is depression. And she was like, you've always had something to make you feel that way. And now that your life is peaceful and nothing is triggering or keeping you in that constant state of depression, she was like, you're able to be more aware of it, to feel it. And I was like, yes. And I don't like this. And she was like, you just have to, she was like, you just have to be aware of it, sit with it. And she always tells me, sit with my emotions. And so I be sitting with motherfuckers. I be sitting with them. Like, and make them be my friends, submissive to me. It's like, okay, I hear you. What are you telling me? What do you want? What do you need? Because when you grow up and you've never had anyone validate your feelings, even care about your feelings, you're doing all the work yourself. So you're caring about your feelings, you're caring about yourself, and you're validating your feelings. You're validating yourself. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I was just telling her, I was like, working on yourself is hard work. And I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And she's like, that's all normal. She was like, I even suffer from depression. She was like, and when I feel it coming on, all you can do is just meditate, sit with it, love it, and just be, whenever you hear it knocking on the door, don't let it come in and stay too long. You know what I'm saying? Sit with it for a minute, put a timer on it, and let it know, you cannot be here all day. You gotta go. Like, you can't dwell within that emotion and then begin to be that emotion. You know what I'm saying? And so that has been something that I'm really working to overcome, because although everything may not be how I want it, how you want it, only you can work to change that. Only you can work to fix what you feel is broken. You know what I'm saying? And she was telling me, don't leap and jump, because you're going to fall. You are like a baby learning to crawl, learning to walk. So you have to take your time. Be patient with yourself and just think back to where you were a couple years ago. And I was just like, you're right. Because a couple years ago, I would be wishing to be where I am now. You know what I'm saying? Like my own place, handling my kid's dad. The job that I have, it may not be the job that I want, but it is supporting me and my kids, and I am actively working towards becoming a successful published author. I already published one book. I'm working on my second, and just continuing to put myself out there and to share my story, to share my journey, because I'm not the only one that's going through this. And some people have it worse than what I do. And so it's then to appreciating myself for the halves. You know what I'm saying? It's appreciating myself for what I do have and stopping with the negative behavior, the negative thoughts. Because growing up, my mom would always compare me to other people. She would always be like, oh, why don't you be like this person? They got this, they have this, you should be more like this person. And a lot of the people that she was saying I should be like, only if she knew. And like, I would even say that to her. I would be like, Mom, only if you knew what she really does. People present themselves to you what they want you to see, what they want you to know, right? And so it's like only once you get close to them and begin to really learn that person and who they are at their core, you're never really going to know them, you know? And so whenever she would say that, like, yeah, it did affect me, it did scar me, because she always made me feel like I was never good enough. And so growing up with that feeling, and now feeling like and knowing that the fuck, I am worth everything that the universe has to offer. Like, I am worth so much. It is ridiculous. It's amazing. And so overcoming all of that, holding my own hand throughout life. Yes, it gets hard. Yes, I get tired. I'm a single mom. I take care of my kids on my own. Even knowing, you know, their dad is a narcissistic asshole. Him not taking care of his children is just to try to hurt me. And it's just like, dude, you're not hurting me. You're hurting your kids. Our kids are growing up. They will see. And when they're adults, that's going to hinder your relationship with them, not mine, because they're always going to know mom had our back. Mom was there for us. Mom did everything. So whenever I have those moments where I'm feeling like it is just too much, I sit back and it's like a Rolodex. I just scroll through everything and be like, it's my cat, and just be like, you know, remember this, and I'll be like, yeah, it's kind of like a reminder to myself of where I came, what I went through, and where I'm at now. And I got myself here. I published my book on my own. Nobody helped me with it. I mean, a lot of people inspired some of the poetry, but I wrote that. I published that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was me. So it's just like constant, when I feel that depression coming on, knocking on my door, that's when I really have to sit with myself and remind myself, like, look, depression is not you. It is just an emotion that is here to trigger you, because that is all you've known. That is not who you are. It is not anything of what you've accomplished or anything like that. So don't let it sit here and become you. If you need to cry, I will go cry. I cried a couple times in the shower last week because I was in depression, you know what I'm saying? And I remember I was even on the phone with my sister after my therapy session, and I was just talking to her, and I was just like, yeah, you know, I was a little depressed last week. And she was like, I could tell. And tears. Like, I just, like, depression came, like, the depression came out, and I was just crying, and I was just talking to her. And I was just like, and she was just like, you know, reminding me, like, mama. She's Puerto Rican, so she always be like, mama. I love when she says that. And so she was just like, mama, you got yourself where you are today. Look at your kids. They are thriving. You are thriving. Like, it's not going to be overnight. And she be saying a lot of the shit that my therapist be saying. And so, like, I had therapy that day, and then I was speaking to her. It's like I got a double dose of it, and it was so good. And I was just like, you know what, you're right. I need to be more thankful for me, more appreciative for me. And I was like, you know what, you're right. So I just had to enforce that appreciation, that love for myself, because when depression comes knocking, sometimes that bitch will take over. but try not to let it get you down. If you are suffering with depression, definitely sit with it. Don't try to just suppress it, because it will definitely come back stronger and will probably affect you worse than when it first is at the door knocking. So when it's there knocking on your door, definitely sit with it, put a timer on it, and you really have to mentally just tell yourself good, positive affirmations over and over and over. And don't become depression. Validate it, honor it, and just love the fuck out of it. You know, it's like no matter how many times you fall, get back up. You know what I'm saying? And it's also really good to surround yourself with people who love you, support you, who definitely have your back. It doesn't matter if it's one person. And if you have no person, definitely seek out help if you need it, if you feel that you aren't strong enough to handle it on your own, because it can be a motherfucker, like big time. But always appreciate yourself, always love yourself, even through those dark times. You know what I'm saying? Like constantly just mentally become strong with positive affirmations and self-love, and become aware of when it's creeping up on you. Definitely. When you begin to become aware of your emotions, when you begin to become aware of those things, you're able to not become those things. So definitely work on becoming consciously aware of your emotions, whether good or bad, you know. And when you become aware of those things, you notice them, then you're able to check it, greet that motherfucker at the door, and you lay down the rules. You lay down the boundaries for all of it, and put them in check. Put them in check, because they are not in control. You are in control. So that is what I'm doing. I love meditating because I am able to sit with those things and to just silently sit with myself. It's amazing. I highly recommend meditating with yourself, about yourself. It can become truly insightful. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful episode about my journey through depression. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We're building a community of healing, of self-love, exploration, becoming aware. I love all that good stuff. Interested in Beautifully Dead. It's on Amazon. I love you guys. Have a good night.